Good morning. Happy December. Okay, so we've covered almost all the things. We've covered, you know, what meaning might be and how we're causing a lot of destruction of meaning through biodiversity loss and pollution and other numerous crises like global warming. And then we talked about, why that might be happening, from globalization to worker alienation to consumerism and machine learning and all these kinds of contributing factors. And so now we get to talk about the fun thing, or maybe not the fun thing, but the good part. I think it's fun, which is like, what can you do about it? What can we do about it? So I think it's a really big ask. It's very difficult to ask of someone, stop consuming, stop participating through your career and through your choices in all of the systems that perpetuate mass consumption and infinite economic growth, and these systems that are destroying our planet. It's a lot to ask of somebody, and especially because people feel like they have no choice, right? We talked about this. So it's like people feel like they have no choice because in many ways we don't have a choice. We rely on these systems to feed us because these are our employers that perpetuate these systems, and they also house us, and our society is not designed for each one of us to have independence over the political implications of our everyday actions. So what can you do? Well, we have to regain that independence. And how do you do that? It's actually really simple. It's really great. It's really simple. Start by growing your own food. It's really good. You grow your own food, and you can see with your own eyes and feel with your own hands and breathe the air, and you can see little piece of the world that you regenerated, and it's amazing. And the second thing that it does is it makes you not reliant on these global interdependent systems of exploitation of people and the planet. You don't have to be implicated in those when you get your food from a place that you know did not destroy the planet and did not hurt people. So grow your own food if you have the means. And if you don't have the means, that brings me to the second thing that you can do, which is, this is going to sound like such a sales pitch, but it's not. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But this is an option. Join a degrowth network near you, or an environmental group. It doesn't have to be degrowth, but that would be my recommendation, because these are going to be people that also care about finding ways of living without destroying and exploiting the planet and the world. And so if growing your own food is hard, they'll help. Maybe you don't have land, but maybe there's a community garden, right? Or maybe you can get together and buy land, take the land back, seize the means of production and all that in it. Yeah, join a local degrowth network and build a community and help each other. Because if you are relying more on your community than you are on your employer, which has in many ways replaced our traditional means of socialization and community, if we go back to relying on communities, we see the effects of our actions much more clearly, and we care much more deeply. And it's no longer a matter of using the resources that somebody grew half a continent away that you don't see and don't care about because you just quite simply don't have the capacity to care about all of the different people that produce all of the different goods that we consume every day. But if we do it in a community, you care about your neighbor, and you care about your friends, and it's a lot simpler. If you can't do either of those things, or maybe you can do either of those things and you can do this, what you can do, let's say you're in tech or you're in some job that you don't particularly like, have integrity. When you make a tool, demand to know what it's used for. Tell them that you don't want it to be used as a tool for mass consumption or ads or lobbying or perpetuating the wealth inequalities. Have integrity in your work. And that's also a big ask. But it's a lot less of a big ask if we can start becoming less dependent on these systems to feed us and shelter us. So that's why I really think that above that latter point, focusing on building stronger communities and more resilient laws that enable these communities is our first priority. Now, lastly, and very importantly, you can, like I am, run for office, you can get involved in the political process, and you can demand rights for the earth. The reason this is extremely important is because if we have rights for the earth, all of these subsidiary parts, all of these interconnected parts of the system that's destroying meaning, wealth inequality, globalization, oligopolies, big agriculture that's destroying the earth, all of these will start to crumble because big agriculture would not be profitable in a system where land is not there for profit, it's there to support life. Because big agriculture doesn't support life, it destroys it. It turns fertile grasslands into biological deserts, lifeless. So I think everyone should run and everyone should express what they believe in and make it harder and harder for lobbying groups and politically entrenched individuals to ignore the message that people are sending. If you run, I think that, and this is what I'm campaigning on, our number one priority should be giving rights to the earth. Because as soon as you do that, systems that perpetuate the exploitation of the earth and exploitation of people, because globalization, which allows us to exploit people without caring, is not a sustainable process, and it systematically destroys the earth. Because in the same way that it allows us to ignore the people that are doing the labor, it also allows us to ignore the effects on the land and the prosperity and the life that the land is supposed to support, because it's so distant and so far away and so easy to ignore. If we focus on the earth as something that is supposed to support life, then we will build systems that are less exploitative. So that's what you can do. And yeah, if nothing else, go plant something in your backyard today. Hopefully not something invasive, but yeah, talk to a gardener about that. All right. Bye-bye.